what else it might be, at least in known events that it might be. And of course our ordinary establishment consensus Qumran scholars never answer any of these questions because they never feel obliged to interpret the text at all. Since they only rely on archaeology and paleography, it absolves them from interpreting anything in the text. They never get out on a limb, so they never can be pilloried. So since they don't give any, they say, well, what do they say about these things? Nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. They don't identify anyone. They don't give any historical identification to anything here, and therefore they can't be criticized. So it's the safest of safe positions to take. Well, in any case, may not relate to the James person, but if it does, I told you, I had a feeling that the Jesus event might have come a little earlier than most of us think it did, and I expressed that to you the other night, and I gave you the reasons from Eusebius, the fact that the Acti Palati of Eusebius, and that's also in Robert Eisenman, I'm not the only one to have seen that, the Acti Palati seem to talk about the Jesus material coming in the teens or the 20s. If that's the case, then I'm home free with the James thing. If it isn't the case, then this 20 years is something of a problem, and I don't deny that it is, but I'm not prepared to give you an interpretation. I don't know what it might be.
It seems like the 20 fits your theory well.
Could be, but let's go on, because I don't want to argue it now. I've just told the folks here what the problem is. If you can figure out an analysis of it, I admit a weakness there, and I'm proud.
If the plant was in 30 and James is in 30.
Okay, well, let's leave it. I don't want to speculate at the moment. I think the evidence is better in some other place. Let's leave it, Jim, for the moment. The point is, I want the folks.
I just want to know the problem.
I just want the folks to think about it themselves. Let them.
Well, maybe they don't know it.
Well, I just told them to. They'll think about it. No, let's go on.
30 and 20 is 50. You said he rose.
I'm going to keep going, and we'll argue about this later on. I don't want it to fit my theory. I want to be nice. I want to be nice and say the things that are weak here. Fine, that did not fit my theory. If you got a better theory, okay, fine. Maybe it is, maybe it doesn't, maybe it does. Okay. I don't. Let's go on. 20 years is a problem that you should have to wrestle with, whether it's accurate, and that's one of the reasons we want to see this text. Is that parallel in the extant materials at Qumran?
Yeah.
My name is Milik, my name is Strugnell, my name is DeVoe, my name is Cross. I'm not interested in such things, therefore I don't think I have to show you these materials. You can wait another 100 years before you answer that question, because I'm running a great mind. And that was the answer that they gave us for 40 years. Okay, now we've published the stuff. They say, oh, you're bandits, you're criminals, you're thieves. The hell you say. We are interested in looking at the material. We're not interested in your careers in great universities and all this kind of stuff. So we published this stuff, and now you can look, and the problem is still there, because in fact I don't know if the 20 is parallel in the extant text or it isn't. But it is an interesting point. 390 to me is no problem, the 20 is. Okay, God observed their works, etc., 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 and he raised up a teacher of righteousness. Notice this text talks about the righteous teacher for the first time. Now, I'm not going to have time to go through more than 3 or 4 columns of this text the rate I'm going, and you're going to get fed up, so that's all I'll do. But you can begin to see a microcosm, a macrocosm, when we do a text like this. My friend Golb, he says these are texts thrown in the caves, helter-skelter from libraries, quote. Norman Golb is a good friend of mine. He is a delicate, elegant human being, very sensitive man. The people in the Haaretz newspaper wrote him up very nicely. They didn't put him with what's this movie director's name that they stuck us with? They didn't make a laughing stock of him by putting him with Paul Mazursky. They elegantly gave his theories in 4 pages with all kinds of beautiful shots of him from different perspectives and lighting and so on. And Golb came home with the Haaretz article clutched in his hand and immediately faxed me it because he was so thrilled the way Haaretz had presented him. Us, they presented as clowns. That's fair enough. But the fact of the matter is that my friend Golb does not read the texts, and he's not interested in the text any more than the establishment people are, because here's an example. The teacher of righteousness is mentioned in this text, in another text, in a third text, in a fourth text, in a fifth text, in a sixth text. The liar is mentioned in this text, in another text, in another text, in another text. The wicked priest goes from text to text to text. Forget the dramatis personae, the concepts, the way, the works, the perfection, the righteousness doctrine. I mean, over and over, the star prophecy. Across the board, text after text is referring to the same thing. Therefore, we have to say that the material is almost, there are variations, of course. Because there are slight variations, does not rule out the fact that different people in a given movement have slightly different ways of thinking. Everyone thinks in a Dumbo way about the past, or a dumbbell way about the past. You go to the Ayatollah Khomeini in Iran, and he's got a whole bunch of people writing there, let's say, in his ideological movement. That doesn't mean every one of his writers is going to have exactly the same doctrine about what he's talking about or what they're involved in. Some are going to be more militant, some less militant, some more violent, some much more pacifistic. There are going to be differences of opinion about doctrine. There's all going to be all kinds of gradations. And we have some of that in the Qumran text, but on the whole, the material is homogeneous. The vocabulary is homogeneous. Conceptuality is homogeneous. I mean in the sectarian text across the board. So there's no way to say this is just assorted libraries from Jerusalem. This is the library of a movement. Now, it may come from Jerusalem. Gold may be quite right there, that the majority of these materials may have been written in Jerusalem. The Jerusalem Church of James the Just, as far as I'm concerned, fits that theory quite well. I can live with the Jerusalem origin of the Qumran materials. We do not have to have a little monk with an inkwell sitting down here in this little room over here penning 50,000 documents. So it doesn't matter where these things came from or how they got here. What does matter is, do they hang together? Is the material homogeneous? The material is rather homogeneous on the whole. Messianic, nationalistic, xenophobic,